This is why Belgian Malinois are too dangerous for average owners. You blink, and they've already assessed your body language, calculated your threat level, and positioned themselves between you and their human. Not because they were told to, not because they're aggressive, because that's just who they are. These dogs don't follow commands like most breeds. They anticipate, they calculate, they outthink you. And if you're not ready for that kind of intelligence packed into 65 pounds of raw athletic power, you're not ready for a Malinois. People think they want one until they live with one. Because this isn't just a high-energy dog. This is a tactical missile with fur. And if you don't give it a mission, it will create one. And that's when the real danger begins. Let's take you into the mind of a Malinois. And you decide if you're truly ready for it. It starts on day one. You bring home this beautiful, alert puppy. It locks eyes with you like it's reading your soul. And it is. Because the Malinois doesn't just bond. It evaluates. Constantly. It's not looking for affection. It's scanning for leadership. Are you strong enough? Clear enough? Disciplined enough? Most people think love is enough. With a Malinois, love without structure is chaos. Within days, this puppy has already tested every rule in your home. They're not misbehaving, they're probing, looking for weakness. And if you hesitate, yell, or bribe them out of a behavior, they file that away. Because this is not a pet. This is a student of behavior. And you are the subject. By week 2, destruction begins. Chewed furniture, ripped curtains, digging holes in your drywall. You didn't fail to train. You failed to stimulate. Malinois don't get tired from walks. They get bored. You can throw a ball 100 times. They'll bring it back, tail wagging. Then stare at you like, that all you got? If you don't challenge their mind, they turn into escape artists, anarchists, even biters. And that's the part no one wants to admit. When a Malinois bites, it's not out of fear or anxiety. It's control. They're not afraid of you. They're disappointed in you. Because you were supposed to be the alpha. But you flinched. This isn't a breed that grows into calmness. It grows into force. At 8 months, they're stronger, faster, and more confident than most adult dogs. And they know it. Without intense training, clear direction, and daily mental workouts, they become dangerous. Not because they're bad, because they were built for more. The Belgian Malinois is used by Navy SEALs, police K9 units, elite protection forces. They leap from helicopters, scale walls, apprehend armed suspects. And yet, people bring them home thinking they're just a smart shepherd. They're not. They're a controlled explosion. And if you're not trained to defuse it, you'll be the first one burned. Let's talk about the Malinois stare. You know the one. The one where they sit quietly and just lock eyes with you. It's not affection, it's measurement. They're asking themselves, are you still in charge? The second you're not, they take over. They don't act out of rebellion. They act because they think they have to. Now picture a dog like that in the hands of someone who can't say no, who doesn't enforce rules, who works 10 hours a day and leaves the dog crated. You don't get a loyal companion. You get a behavioral time bomb. And when it explodes, you blame the breed. But the truth is, the Malinois didn't fail. You just weren't ready for war. Now, for a moment, let's flip the script. Because with the right person, the Malinois is poetry in motion. They read your body language like a book. They open doors, protect children, alert you to danger before you even know there is any. They're not just smart, they're hyper-intelligent. But that intelligence comes with a price: structure, discipline, leadership. You don't get days off, you don't get to be moody, you don't get to wing it, because your Malinois won't. They'll test you again, and again, and again, until they know, without a doubt, you're worthy. So here's the honest truth. The Belgian Malinois is not too dangerous for everyone, just for most people, because most people don't want a full-time job disguised as a dog. They want a companion, not a co-pilot in combat. But the Malinois was not built to relax. They were built to work. They don't care about your furniture. They care about your focus. They don't want your affection. They want your command. And if you can't give them that, you're not getting a best friend. You're getting a hurricane. So before you fall in love with the look of the breed, ask yourself if you're willing to earn their respect. Because once you do, they will lay down their life for you. But if you don't, they'll take your life apart, one wall, one bite, one broken trust at a time. You thought you knew what high drive meant. You thought, he'll need more exercise, a few long walks, maybe some fetch. I'll keep him busy. You had no idea what was coming. Because the Belgian Malinois isn't high drive. They are pure, undiluted obsession, wrapped in a dog's body. This isn't a breed that just wants to work. They must work. It is their oxygen, their heartbeat, their reason for existing. And if you deny them that, they don't get depressed. They get destructive, explosive, unhinged. Imagine giving a Formula One engine to someone who just wants to cruise to the store. That's what a Malinois is like in the hands of someone who just wants a loyal pet. They don't just want your time. They want your intensity. Not 1 hour of fetch, not 2 hours at the dog park. They want your mind. If you're distracted, if your energy is low, if your leadership is off, they feel it immediately and they react. You don't train a Malinois like other dogs. You don't throw a treat and say sit and think that's the end of it. No. You teach, then test, then challenge. Then you raise the stakes, because once they master something, they want more. And if you don't give them more, they'll find more, often in ways you won't like opening doors, jumping fences, hurting children, or barking for 3 hours straight at nothing, just to discharge energy. And here's the dangerous part most owners ignore. That drive is not optional. You can't ignore it away. You can't love it into submission. It must be redirected. A Malinois without a job is like a soldier without a war. They begin to create missions. And most of those missions are not compatible with your couch cushions. Now, ask yourself this. Are you ready to lead a mind like that? To be more disciplined than your dog? To out-strategize an animal that can predict your moves before you make them? Because if you're not, the Malinois will run your life. And I mean that literally. Let's pause and open another loop, because this is the moment that breaks most owners. It's not the barking, not the energy, not the training load. It's the pressure. The mental demand of owning a creature that never stops thinking, watching, testing. It's the realization that you have to evolve, or this relationship will implode. Because this isn't a breed that adjusts to you. You adjust to them, or you don't get to keep them. And that pressure crushes people. Here's the most terrifying moment in a Malinois owner's journey. When your dog looks at you and you realize they no longer believe in you. No more eye contact. No more anticipation. No more check-ins. Just distance, silence, disengagement. You didn't notice it happening, but they did. Every missed command, every late correction, every emotional outburst or broken routine. The Malinois doesn't forget. They don't forgive inconsistency, they record it. And when the trust is gone, what's left is a weapon you can't control. Most dogs wait for instruction, but a Malinois without trust doesn't wait. They take initiative because they believe the human is no longer reliable, and that makes them unpredictable. It starts subtly. You tell them to stay, they half obey. You call them, and they hesitate. You correct them, and they stare back like, "Who are you to tell me what to do?" And in that moment, everything shifts. Trust isn't a one-time event, it's a living thing. With the Malinois, it's built through discipline, consistency, calm energy, tactical leadership. If you yell, bribe, beg, or give up, they remember. And by the time you realize the relationship is fractured, it's already too late. You're trying to lead a soldier who no longer respects the chain of command. The scariest part? A Malinois with broken trust isn't obviously bad. They may still come when called, still sit for food, still play tug, but deep down the spark is gone. They're performing, not believing. And that's the difference between control and connection. Let me make this crystal clear. The Belgian Malinois is not a bad dog. In fact, they are one of the most loyal, capable, and emotionally tuned-in creatures on the planet. When trained properly, they're stunning. They will track a missing child through 10 miles of woods. They will alert you before a threat even exists. They will lay their life down without hesitation. But that kind of loyalty, that level of performance, it's earned. And it costs more than most are willing to pay. So if you're watching this and you're still thinking, maybe I can do this, good. But don't do it for the look. Don't do it for the flex. Don't do it for the likes. Do it because you're ready to go to war with yourself, to become someone worth following. Because that's what the Belgian Malinois truly wants. Not an owner, a leader. And if you can be that, they will follow you through fire. This is the pet perspective, where we tell the truth even when it bites. And now, you know why the Belgian Malinois is too dangerous for average owners. The question is, are you still average? So here we are, at the end of this truth you weren't supposed to hear. If you made it this far, maybe you've realized something. This isn't really about dogs. It's about you. Because the Belgian Malinois doesn't just demand obedience. They demand growth. They don't just test your commands. They test your character. They'll rip down your walls, sometimes literally, and expose every crack in your discipline, your focus, your patience. But if you let them, if you step into the fire and become who they need, you won't just earn their respect. You'll earn a bond that defies words. One built not on convenience, but on unshakable trust. And in a world where loyalty is rare, that might just be the most powerful thing you'll ever experience. The Malinois doesn't give love easily, but once they choose you, they never unchoose you. The question is, will you be the one they can choose?